Hey there YouTube lovers, my name is BB8 and today we are going to review Hogwarts Legacy. I've been wanting to do this review for a long time, but why am I doing it late? Well, the only reason I'm doing it late is mainly because I moved the exact weekend Hogwarts Legacy released, so I didn't really have the motivation to play it. So I just left it there for a while, and then the Switch version came out, and I thought the Switch version has been getting better reviews than I expected it to, so I thought I'd pick up the Switch version, see how it is, so I can talk about it in my review. And I am going to talk about the Switch version of Persona 5 Royal in my Persona 5 Royal review as well. So, without further ado, let's get into it, shall we? For the gameplay, Hogwarts Legacy offers users an experience that can completely lose themselves in the Wizarding World franchise whilst taking place at the Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Players create their own characters by choosing a house from Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, or Slytherin, in addition to their gender and appearance. Characters receive experience points through battling, mastering spells, and creating potions as they play through the game. These points can be utilized to level up and unlock additional abilities. They are blessed with the capacity to develop connections with NPCs that could result in companionship and unique missions. Besides visiting renowned locations like Hogsmeade and the Forbidden Forest, players may build spaces to provide care for magical beasts and customize the surroundings. And with an array of tasks and supporters to battle, open world gameplay encourages exploration, and classes additionally enhance the gameplay mechanics. The game's extensive environment, complete with opponents and activities, encourages exploration. Using spells like Revelio, for example, can allow players to discover secrets, acquire items, and travel anywhere using a broomstick or flue powder. As players travel deeper into the Wizarding World, the appearance of the castle changes dynamically with the seasons, making attending classes important to the storyline and gameplay progression. In the iconic Harry Potter universe, Hogwarts Legacy provides an immersive experience where players may choose their wizarding path, and there isn't a shortage of things to do in Hogwarts Legacy, and that's great, and I'm hoping they can expand it with a sequel in the future. For the story, with Professor Fig's advice, the main protagonist starts on a mission at Hogwarts, in which they may face difficulties left by the Keepers. While discovering ancient magic, these trials reveal Morganach's dark past, as well as imminent danger posed by Ranrock, the leader of the Goblin Rebellion. The protagonist makes important choices regarding the future of ancient magic storage facility as they navigate these barriers, form partners, and confront enemies. During their heroic acts, they continue their studies, in which they need to prepare students for their OWL exams, in which they take the House Cup and be known as heroes. Through the course of their mission, the main protagonist makes friendships and sorrows the passing of Professor Fig, who sacrifices his life to halt Ranrock. Despite the challenges, the main protagonist wins, showing courage, truthfulness, and leadership, earning acclaim from Professor Weasley, and leaving eternal impact on the Hogwarts community. The Hogwarts Legacy main plot is a solid addition to the lore of the school's founding members, and it additionally expands the depth of the story by introducing fresh new characters and developing their connections through the quests, like Sebastian's arc involving the dark arts and saving his sister from a curse. The only reason I brought this up in my video is because I thought it would be an interesting aspect to talk about, and that is the Nintendo Switch version. After hearing Hogwarts Legacy would be made available on Nintendo Switch, my first impression was that the game would perform badly. After all, the Switch version was the version that was the most delayed. But in my opinion, apart from Persona 5 Royal, it's one of the better AAA Switch ports. It's not perfect, but it works. Despite certain adjustments from earlier versions to get it to run on the Switch, Avalanche Software and Portkey Games cooked with the Switch port. Hogwarts Legacy serves as an incredible game for the relevant platforms such as PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC because of its incredible visuals and complex setting. Yet, due to its complexity, it's also an ideal match for handheld gaming, especially on the Nintendo Switch. While the game's delays on the Switch could point to technical issues, changing the appearance of the game to enhance functionality shouldn't significantly detract from the entire playing experience, ensuring that more people will enjoy it. Since the Nintendo Switch is appropriate for shorter play sessions, Hogwarts Legacy's gameplay may succeed here despite a few graphical adjustments, and the tasks of the game, which often require extended periods, were effectively suited to the case of handheld gaming. Consequently, although moving to a handheld platform might prove challenging, consumer anticipation for the Nintendo Switch launch is apparent since accessibility and convenience benefits outweigh any possible visual differences. But is Hogwarts Legacy worth it on Nintendo Switch? Honestly, yes. It's the most storage efficient version of the game that you can buy, as long as you own an SD card. And since I own it physically on the Switch, it only took up 8 GB of storage for me. It's not the perfect port, but it runs better than Mortal Kombat 1 on Nintendo Switch. For the summary, the gameplay, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. The gameplay in Hogwarts Legacy is as you'd expect, staying true to the Harry Potter IP. Hogwarts Legacy is exactly what I expected a Harry Potter game to be, minus the iconic parts of the Harry Potter universe, such as Quidditch, the Golden Snitch, or the Night Bus, which in the Harry Potter lore was made in 1865, but in Hogwarts Legacy is set in 1890 to 1891, so it could be included in either a paid DLC or a sequel with a different set of characters and set in the 1930s or something. Maybe that's when a Hogwarts Legacy sequel could be set. For the graphics and the performance, I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. But this is the PlayStation 5 version we're talking about. The visuals in Hogwarts Legacy look incredible. The UI design does have its own unique features depending on the version you have. Like, the Switch version does support the touchscreen, and the PlayStation 5 version does allow you to use the trackpad to navigate the menu, which is good. The heads-up display doesn't have too many elements, which is equal, and the performance is amazing. For the story, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I love how Hogwarts Legacy has multiple side stories in the form of relationship quests based on other students from Hogwarts, such as Sebastian's arc, which involves the dark arts and how he is trying to save his sister Anne. but the base story is decent, but the side stories add more lore and personality to the game, and the final battle against Ranrock was epic. The characters, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. The characters are interesting thanks to their lore and personalities. Professor Garlick is probably the name that sounds the most fascinating to me. For the content, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. Hogwarts Legacy has so much to do after you beat the game, such as the Room of Requirement, the Demiguise Moons, and even catching some beasts to go in the Room of Requirement, which you can use to upgrade your gear. The music, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. The music stays true to the source material as it retains the essence of the Harry Potter movies, composed by the goated composer John Williams for the first 3 Harry Potter movies. For the PlayStation 5 version, I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. The PlayStation 5 version runs flawlessly. The adaptive triggers in the wands make spellcasting feel real, and the transition between different locations is fast. For the Nintendo Switch version, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. The only reason I bought the Nintendo Switch version of Hogwarts Legacy is that I wanted to talk about it in my review, and I have to say, I expected it to run awfully, but it turns out it's not a generic and lazy cloud port like I expected it to be. Portkey Games and Avalanche Software have actually cooked with the Switch port of Hogwarts Legacy, even with minor drawbacks such as loading times and rendering delay on some objects, but minor sacrifices such as loading screens between some areas, such as different buildings in Hogsmeade or entering the Hogwarts Castle. But I understand why the Switch version does this. But is Hogwarts Legacy on the Switch worth it? Surprisingly, yes. Suppose you are a big fan of Harry Potter and have a Switch but not an Xbox, PlayStation or PC. In that case, Hogwarts Legacy is probably the best AAA port on the Switch right now, and the effort put into the Switch port shows that Portkey Games and Avalanche Software do care about their consumer base when it comes to Hogwarts Legacy, unlike that Gollum game that destroyed an entire studio. And I do think Hogwarts Legacy will be ported over to one last platform if it is to get a potential sequel, and that is Nintendo's next console. Since the likelihood of Hogwarts Legacy coming to Nintendo's next console is quite high in my opinion, since I do think Hogwarts Legacy could actually run better on what Nintendo has coming up next. For the difficulty, I'm going to give it a hard. The boss fights at times can be hard, but make sure you upgrade your gear and learn new spells as you progress through the game, because boss fights are a challenge, especially in various phases of Ranrock's boss fight at the end of the game. For the length, I'm going to give it 20 to 40 hours. The length of Hogwarts Legacy will depend on the individual player's pacing. For me, it took around 40 hours to complete because I took my time completing assignments and going through relationship quests. The audience, I'm going to give it a 12+. The game does contain violence as seen in the Harry Potter movies, so if you are a Harry Potter fan, the age rating might just be right. And for the perk, I'm going to give it the Collector perk. Unfortunately, Hogwarts Legacy did not make it to Certified Gold, but it's still a great game, regardless if it made it to the Certified Gold Club or not. Regardless of what's going on with the author of Harry Potter and her beliefs, it's still a great game anyone can pick up and dive into, regardless of the platform they own. It's a game that deserves its success, because it remains faithful to the source material. Even though I do wish this game was canon with Harry Potter, it's an enjoyable game. And overall, I give Hogwarts Legacy a 9 out of 10. Hogwarts Legacy is probably the best offering in terms of video games that you can get from the wizarding world of Harry Potter. The game has so much to do, there's something for everyone in here, like capturing beasts, customizing the Room of Requirement, or fighting off enemies in the Forbidden Forest. And overall, Hogwarts Legacy is probably a Harry Potter fan's dream game. And I do hope they do more with this version of the wizarding world of Harry Potter in the future. I do think it will be ported over to whatever Nintendo's next console is, and I do think a sequel could be greenlit because of how successful it is, and maybe the sequel could make it certified gold. And honestly, Hogwarts Legacy didn't. But still a great game. So guys, what did you think of my long-awaited review for Hogwarts Legacy? So, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and turn your notification bell on so you don't miss another video like this one. And I will see you all in a future video. BB8 out.